Right guys, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about relationships, and I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm a relationship queen, because I'm not, but I think there are a few issues that we need to address, because I feel like relationships nowadays aren't mature relationships. It's like kind of like I need someone to fill this void, and you know, you'll do, and then people just end up getting together because they need that dependency and they need that person to rely on. In reality, like, you should only be in a relationship if, you know, you really want to be with that person. You need to be secure of yourself to be able to be secure with your partner. So the first point I'm going to talk about is insecurities. So I understand that on a level, like, relationships are about compromise, and they're about understanding your partner and respecting your partner's opinion, but obviously not letting them bully you into doing something that you don't particularly want to do. So like, I know I've got a few friends that find it disrespectful if a guy, like, if their partner likes another girl's picture on Instagram. And my view on this has always been like, I could not give a shit if my guy likes someone else's picture on Instagram. As long as he's not in her DMs, I could not give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like that picture, because I'm liking that pictures of hot men, you know what I'm saying? Or pictures of my friends that are guys, you know what I mean? Like, it's petty. It's petty to be like, to actually be, for me, I don't know, I just find it strange, because if you're really secure within yourself and you really trust your partner, like, it's just a fucking like, literally, it's just a like, it's minor. But that brings me on to another point about social media and like communication tools, shall I say, because it could be anything, like laptops, email, blah blah blah. I personally don't see why you should be sharing your passwords with your partner, because if at the end of the day, if you don't trust your partner, then you don't have a relationship. Like, relationships are literally based on trust, whether that's friendships, do you know what I mean, or you're actually, obviously, your partner. Like, you're meant to trust each other. If you don't trust each other, then you're going around a continuous loop, making up scenarios in your head when there doesn't need to be scenarios. You know, you need to have, that's the whole point of a relationship, is coming together and putting that trust into someone, you know, knowing that they rate you enough and that they respect you enough to not obviously disrespect you. And I've been cheated on in the past. My first boyfriend, Dan, he cheated on me a lot. But I'm not someone that's bitter when it comes to relationships. Like, I still chat to him now, like, we're still cool, we're still brethren. Like, he's dope, like, he's literally dope. And like, I don't know, I like to be friends with all my exes, because at one point they were like a big part of my life. And you know, you obviously, it's a deep connection that you share with someone for potentially a long period of time. So I'd never, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. That's obviously just my opinion. Obviously, even though it ended badly, like, trust me, like, he gave me chlamydia and everything. Like, I was with him for like nearly 3 years, and yeah, he was cheating on me, shagging about, gave me fucking chlamydia, and yeah, we're still cool. We're still cool, because, you know, that was in the past, and, you know, he's not that person anymore. Well, I hope he's not. I'm not that person anymore. Like, he taught me a lot of lessons. I shared some amazing experiences with him, but, you know, just because we didn't vibe as a couple doesn't mean that we still can't be friends. And so I like to try and keep it cool with all of my exes. My most recent ex, like, I'm cool with him. I'm not really sure how he feels towards me. I haven't really spoken to him lately. We were cool, and then like, he started unfollowing me off of like social media and shit. So I'm not really sure what's going on in his head, but I wish him all the best. Do you know what I mean? There's no bad blood there on my part. But another main thing that I've spoken about a few times is communication. Communication is so important, and the way you talk to your partner and the way you articulate yourself to your partner has a major impact on resolving situations and potentially moving forward as one. So with my first partner, my first like ever like long-term partner, where we was young, like, I remember, like, I used to throw so many insults at him, like, all the time, and like, I could understand why he done what he done, but it was like I couldn't control my anger. He constantly pushed me to a point where like I just majorly disrespect him, and like he'd disrespect me too. Like, the reason I'd get so angry at him is because he was disrespecting me. But there's a right and wrong way to be able to sit down with your partner and be like, look, this is upsetting me, this isn't cool, like, we need to resolve this. Sitting there calling your woman a whore and sitting there calling your man a dickhead, right, that's not going to resolve anything. All you're doing, like, yeah, you might feel a bit better because you've released your anger, but potentially you're not getting to the bottom of the problem. You're just causing another problem, because you're actually like disrespecting someone that you potentially want to spend the rest of your life with. You're disrespecting them on a level that's like you should never do. like ever. And it's a big fat no. It's just a big fat no. You just don't do it. When it comes to someone popped up to me and asked me to do this vlog around like manipulation and control within a relationship. If your partner is manipulating you and if your partner is controlling you, you need to leave. It's literally that simple. And like, it's mad because I was with someone for around 10 months and we'd been friends for a long time. I didn't see him for a few years, and then like we ended up like bumping into each other, and then yeah, things moved pretty quick, and was, yeah, like I said, I was with him for 10 months. He was quite controlling, but like not in like an obvious way, like not particularly sitting there telling me what to do, but like I know that if I said certain things or if I'd done certain things, that would like infuriate him. So it's like, and it wasn't even like bad things that I'd be doing, it's just things that he felt uncomfortable with me doing. So he'd end up like, I'd stop doing those things because I was just, even though it would be for like things I enjoyed, do you know what I mean? Because he'd get like a bit aggressive with me, and I don't mean like he'd hit me or shout abuse at me, but like his whole attitude would change, and like it kind of made me feel like trapped. And it wasn't like it was hard because it wasn't like point blank obvious, do you know what I mean? It wasn't point blank like you're being a cunt to me. It was just strange. I just felt like I was walking on eggshells around him all the time, and like that's not how a relationship should be. And it got to a point where I was just like, look, your anger is not my issue. And like I can't deal with it anymore, so I left. And I felt so free after. I really did. Like, I tend to get into relationships because, like in the past I have, because I'm just craving that closeness with someone, so I end up settling for someone that's not particularly everything that I want, and I refuse to do that now. So I think it's just recognising like your bad traits as well, because I'm not saying those traits of me were bad, but I turn a blind eye, and you should never do that. Like, red flags are there for a fucking reason, and you really need to like listen to yourself, because your heart and your body, like your gut knows. So I was with another guy, and there was like just little things he'd say to me, like things that like he'd praise me for before I was with him, and then I got with him, and then suddenly those things were like not acceptable. So like he kind of belittled me and made me feel like, he just made me question myself a lot. And your partner shouldn't do that. Your partner should be reassuring you, you know. And like if they're not, then they're not the right person for you. Like nobody should be in a relationship where they're constantly putting you down and making you feel like shit. That's not healthy. That's not what it's about. And more time it's them projecting their insecurities onto you, which makes obviously you question yourself, and you're like, okay, like am I doing something wrong here? And then that's how like you end up changing your ways, you know what I mean? You end up morphing to this person that's not you, just to satisfy your partner, and that's not a healthy relationship. So yeah, like he used to make little comments at me, and yeah, it just kind of made me feel like, if I'm honest, there was moments where he just made me feel like a whore. And like, don't get twisted, when I'm single I'll do what the fuck I want, you know, but I've always been loyal in every single one of my relationships. Like, I'd never disrespect my man like that. If I wanted to go fuck about and do whatever, I'd be single. Like, I'm not that girl, you know. When I'm with someone, I give them my all. And in the past, I've obviously chopped and changed pieces of myself to fit my partner, and I've completely lost who I am in the process. And I just couldn't imagine doing that now. Like, it's a lot deeper than that for me. I don't need that codependency. I don't need someone to sit there and validate me, because I know in my heart and my soul that I'm a fucking good person, and the right guy is going to come around and just add to my greatness. So I can't wait for that day to come. But yeah, it's really just important, because relationships are partnerships, you know. Like, it's two individuals coming together to make something magical. It's not, I'm missing these pieces and this person can fill those pieces. Because when that happens, it ends up being a codependency that's not healthy. It's toxic. Couldn't get that words out there. It's toxic, and yeah, it's more than likely not going to end in a good way. I'm not saying in a relationship you obviously just do completely what you want, because there are levels to it. Like, obviously compromise is a massive thing. Something that may make your partner uncomfortable, which could be something so small, like really small, that may make them feel uncomfortable, you know. But like, obviously you say like you want to do it. Like, if it makes them feel uncomfortable, you need to come to like a middle ground where you're like, okay, like, I'm trying to think of like a good example for you guys. I don't know, say like you only see your partner at the weekends. say you only see them at the weekend, okay? And you say you want to go out at the weekend, but your partner's like, well, I only get to see you at the weekend, so can we not obviously have like a night in together, blah blah blah. Like, be like, okay, well, how about I go out for a couple of drinks, you know, and then you come get me, and then we can spend the evening together. Like, just small things like that, do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't do what you want to do, but you should definitely do what you want to do. But, you know, a relationship does mean that you are taking into consideration someone else, and it's important not to be selfish. You need to be, aspects of you need to be selfless, but in a way where you're not losing who you are because you're trying to, you know, satisfy your partner. Because at the end of the day, you are number one, and if you're not fully satisfied, you won't do anything but bring problems and negativity into that situation, which will just make it worse. So I think it's really just important to understand what you want in a relationship and what you need, and not just be like, oh, I'm lonely, I need someone, which is what I've done. Like, I'm not saying like you're a dickhead if you do that, but in my personal opinion, like, a life partner shouldn't be someone that you get with just because you're lonely. You know, it should be someone that you have a really deep connection with. And I don't just mean the sex is great. Like, sex is a big part of a relationship, don't get twisted. I've always been one to say that, but it's really important to connect on like a deeper level than that, you know? Like, you need to fall in love with their brain, the way the brain works, you know? Like, I remember I was seeing someone and it was just like, he called it mind sex, and I giggled when he called it that, but I completely get what he was talking about. And like, it is important. Like, even, I don't even just mean like in like full on relationships, like even like sexual partners. Like, if you're not with someone that like really like intrigues you and, you know, pulls out pieces of your brain and makes you ask questions, you know, it's more than likely going to drain you. And that's the last thing we want, you know what I mean? The sex could be amazing. Like, I've had some amazing sex with some shit people, if I'm frankly honest, but, you know, the sex has been great, so I've carried on having sex with them, and it's just left me empty. Takes and takes and takes, and it ends up shit. So I just want you guys to have a little think about that. You know, I'm not saying, like I said earlier, I'm not a relationship guru, I'm not fantastic at this, but I'd like to think that I'm on a path now where I am realising my own power, and I'm fucking not letting a man ever come into my life and take that off me again. Never. It's happened too much in the past, and it's funny because men try to make you feel guilty for it, do you know what I mean? It's like when you pull someone up with something that they've done wrong, and they try twisting it around on you, like, no honey, that was you, do you know what I mean? I remember someone told me, they were like, you're quite damaged, aren't you? Damaged, you know? About damaged. I ain't fucking damaged, you're fucking damaged. The fact that you would even like turn around and say that to someone is fucking weird to me, because at the end of the day, we've all got our own sort of damage, do you know what I mean? But it's whether you acknowledge that, and then you're finding ways to like obviously work around it and be better. Like, that's what's important. Just because I've been hurt in the past and I've got some past trauma doesn't mean that I'm fucking damaged. Like, that's rude. Rude as fuck. And it's funny because the people who normally point that shit out are the people with the deepest fucking problems, you know what I mean? Like, proper issues. So I just want people to be very mindful about who they're letting into their lives and who they're giving that sort of love and affection to, because it really can change you. Like, a lot of past experiences that I've had in relationships have morphed me into who I am now, and don't regret any of them. Do not regret any of them, no matter how much pain they caused me, no matter how much hurt I went through. Like, that shit just makes you stronger. And people need to stop being so worried about being alone, because being alone, that's where you find your power. You know, that's when you get yourself into a position where no one can take that fucking power from you, because you are sure of yourself. You're just ready to take on the world. And for me right now, I'm in a position where if you are not satisfying me mentally, then you can't come anywhere near me. You know, you obviously know. So that there. But yeah, so I hope some of you found that useful. I'm sorry I wasn't all as per usual, but like, it's a deep subject and it needs to be spoken about. I just want people to be really satisfied with who they are and not lose themselves trying to please someone else, because happiness comes from within. Happiness starts with you, and you can't be handing over your happiness to someone else. Like, relying on someone else to make you happy will never make you happy. It needs to be from the heart. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm sure I will see you very soon. Well, you'll see me very soon. Thank you. Oh, and press, if you like it, man, subscribe. You feel?